Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's class. I'm just joining you in the comments. If you can let me know if you can hear me, I would appreciate that. There we are. So I can see the comments. If you can just let me know if you can see and hear me, I would appreciate that. Let me just adjust slightly. So I have confirmation that you can hear and see me. We'll give it a couple seconds for everybody to join. Hi Karen, hi Alba. So nice to see the usual faces. And I see everybody is nice and early. Hi Susan. Perfect. So sound is clear and you can obviously see me. So tonight, let's just put this vibration off. Otherwise, every time something comes through, you will hear that annoying vibration. So tonight we have some very exciting things happening. So if you are a beginner, there is definitely something in this class for you. So we'll be making a photo frame for Dad. That will be just using your fine point blade. It'll be print then cut, and obviously you'll need a photo frame for that. Then if you are a more advanced user or you have a Cricut Maker machine with a knife blade, we will be making this really cute little keyring for Dad. So I will show you how to do the photos obviously and the whole keyring. So that's a really nice keyring for Dad. And then we also have two very exciting competitions. So we have obviously one that has been posted on the group. So I will just show it to you quickly. So this is our Made for Mzansi competition, and there are some amazing prizes. So you can win a Cricut Joy 2, which is yet to be released in South Africa. There are 4 Cricut Cuties up for grabs and 4 Cricut Supporter crates. So all you have to do is personalize a jersey, a tee, cap, banner, decal, anything that supports our sports stars. So I'm very excited. If you have not entered yet, you definitely should. There are, again, amazing prizes up for grabs. So you can find all of the competitions that are currently running under the featured tab on the group. So if you ever want to know where the weekly challenges are, that's where you'll find them. So our weekly challenge is also our Father's Day challenge, and for that you have to make 6 projects, all to do with the word father. So for each letter you need to make a project. That one only ends on the 21st, so you have lots of time to enter that. Then for tonight's class there is going to be an exciting flash challenge, which I will tell you more about just now. So as always, this class is proudly sponsored by Cricut and Logitech, and let's get into it. So we're going to start a new project. If you have any questions, you can pop them in the comments. If I don't get to them, then one of the lovely admins definitely will. We do try and answer every single question that comes up though. So we're going to start on a blank canvas. So just to give you some insights on the different project types, if you choose a specific project type, let's say for instance your vinyl decal, that is going to exclude some of the features. So for instance your print then cut. So whenever you're doing a project like this, I suggest using a blank canvas. Okay, so we're going to start designing, and we are going to create the base for our keyring. So we're going to start with the keyring because that's going to take the longest to cut, and then we'll move over to our photo frame. So for this project, it's actually really easy. So if you're doing the photo frame, all you're going to need is a sheet of cardstock and printable photo paper. That's it. If you want to do the keyring, then you're going to need some basswood and wood veneer, or you can use vinyl, whatever it is that you want, and some acetate, obviously, and your photo paper or your photo. Hello to everybody that's just joining. Okay, so let's get into it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert a shape, and I'm going with a rounded square, if you will. You can use the rectangle. So I went with about 8.4 by 5. It doesn't really matter, it doesn't have to be exact. So we're just going to change this to a different color so that we can see it better, and then we're going to insert our text. So we're going to put in dad. You can obviously put in any words that you want. It doesn't have to be dad. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. And we're just going to change that. So I want something that's chunky. Autosave is here. So we've already started designing, but if you haven't seen it, autosave is here. I must also just touch on one of the features that seems to be catching everybody off guard at the moment, and that is the new feature that allows you to move layered objects easier. So for instance, with this dad, if I want to move it, I should click on part of the black and not in the center. So I don't think I've had the update yet. I think I'm on live, I'm not sure. But if you get caught with that, that is how you will resolve it. Okay, so I want to look for something that is chunky. Hello everybody, I see lots of people still joining. Let's have a look at that one. No, that's too rounded. I like this. That's perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to make this a little bit shorter just so that it doesn't look odd. And we're just going to make that slightly bigger. We want that a little bit bigger, I think. So most of this is going to be by eye, it's just sort of your preference. So what we're going to do now is we're going to weld that. So the reason I'm welding it is that when it is text, each of the letters registers as its own element. So if I want to be able to do things like contour, then I have to weld it so that it's one solid object. So I'm going to contour that, and I'm going to get rid of the little middle pieces because I want to have solid openings. So it's going to look like that. Let's do that. And we're going to align the center horizontally and vertically. And then we're going to select both of them, and we're going to slice. That is going to give us the cute little frame. So that's going to be the top of our frame. What I'm going to then do is I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to contour it. I'm going to say hide all contours, and that's going to be the back of our frame. Oopsie, we don't want to duplicate. I want to send it to the back. So this is a really easy project. Super simple. I'm going to keep this aside for our photo frame, and then we can delete that. Okay, now we need to have the midsection that's going to allow us to create a space so that we can put our photo in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually duplicate this again. Lots of duplicating. And then I'm going to add an offset. So I need to have a negative offset because I want it to be moving inwards and not sticking out the side of the frame. So let's go minus 0.3. I think we can go a little bit bigger. 0.4. Let's try for 5. I think that might be too big, but let's see. Let's slice that. Okay, so I'm going to bring this to the front so that I can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to change the color. So what I want to see now is if it's going to go over the dad, basically. So that looks good. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this slightly smaller. And that's going to go in there. That's going to be our acetate layer. And now we're going to set up our photo. So I've already uploaded photos. These are stock images. They are widely available on the internet, so I'm not exposing anybody's child. So we go to upload, and you can see I've already uploaded them. When you're uploading your photos, you're going to upload it and you're going to select single layer image. I think that's what it's called. And that's going to give you your photos. So we want 3 photos. They're very big. Hi Nat, so Nat just popped in. She is on the most amazing girls trip. They have seen lions and elephants and all sorts of things. Okay, so now we're going to be doing our photos, and we obviously want each of the letters to have a different photo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, and this is just going to give me something to slice with. So we can actually delete that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add an offset. So the reason I'm adding an offset is that I want the photo to be slightly bigger than the frame itself, so that it doesn't show the whites of the edges. So we're just going to add a very little offset. Let's say 0.1. Let's go 1.5. Okay. They are touching though. So I don't really want them to touch here, because then it's not going to be able to be contoured. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. And then I'm going to contour it, and I'm going to get rid of 2 of the letters, so it leaves me with 1. I'm then going to give my offset, which is 0.15. We're going to apply that, and this is what I'm going to use to slice the photo. Then I'm going to do the same for the A. Okay, that's perfect. So we want these to be on the top so that we can place it over our photo. And basically we obviously want dad and baby's face to be inside of it. So let's slice that and have a look. Get rid of that, and that's perfect. Now we're going to do the same with the D. And remember, if it doesn't work out, if it is not centered how you want it, or it just doesn't look right, you can always just Control Z, undo, and then readjust it. So we're going to slice that. Very cute. And then we're going to do the same for the last one. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to align this. So I'm going to grab, I don't want that one, I want the white. There it is there. We're going to stick that on top there. We're going to align this nicely. So you can see no parts of it are sticking out. Oopsie. So I would suggest just zooming in for this part. And it's fine if they overlap slightly, because remember you did give it a offset. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this to the front, and that's what it's going to look like. So very, very cute, very simple. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select the 3 letters that we've just created, the 3 letter photos, as well as our slice result. So that's our solid piece. Let me move that so there's no confusion. So this needs to go over slightly. and then we're going to flatten that. So remember, with print then cut, flattening onto a solid background will make it cut around the edge. If we had just flattened the DAD, then it would have cut around each of the letters, which obviously we didn't want. So we want to have like a solid little piece in there. Okay, so that goes in there. So this is going to also be brown. So let's change it to brown now because we know what we're working with. So this one is going to be brown. So that's to represent our basswood. And this one is also going to be brown. Oh wow, that just moved. Okay, so the gray is going to be our acetate. We're going to have our dad photo in there, and that is literally the whole setup of the keyring. It's super easy. So we can move that aside. And then what we're going to do is we're going to work on our photo frame. So our photo frame is basically going to be the same principle, except, so let's just duplicate this. Let's duplicate that. And let's duplicate that. So what you're going to do is you're going to measure your photo frame. So mine is 10 by 15 centimeters. So we're going to insert a shape as we're going to use a square. We're going to change the size to 10 by 15 centimeters. So we're going to unlock that. We want 15 by 10 because we're going to use it sideways. And there it is there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to bring this to the front. And we're going to size it up until we're happy with it. Let's align center horizontally and vertically. I don't know why we're doing the hard work ourselves. So the first thing I'm going to do is the background. So for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use our, no, we're not. We're going to do it like this. We're going to grab that and we're going to say contour. And we're going to say apply. And this is going to give us our frame that's going to go into our frame. It'll make more sense in a bit. So this is going to be white. And you can obviously add anything in that you want. So we recently did the names with the glyphs. So you could have that at the bottom with the kid's name and dad's name, etc. You could have best dad in the world, love you, love from whoever, whatever you wanted to. So we're going to duplicate this again. We're going to say contour, hide all contours because I want a solid object. And we're going to send that to the back. And now I'm going to select the dad, this one, with our solid object, and we're going to say flatten. So that's going to be our print then cut piece, and this is going to be cut out of cardstock. So it's literally that simple, and you'll see how cute it looks. So we're ready to go. I'm going to save this. It's just an untitled project. Okay. And then we're going to say make. So Kim said she had a challenge planned for a latecomer. Now everyone is on time. She thinks that I made everyone scared of being late, which is obviously not true because I was targeting people that were on time. So definitely wasn't me. But I do see some very willing participants in the comment section. So that is very exciting. We do have a challenge coming up. Okay, so this is print then cut. You can see that it's going to cut out two separate pieces. And I want to make sure that I'm on A4. This is going to be our acetate. This is going to be the basswood. So for this, I do need to just realign it. And if you have not shopped on Secret Sale yet, what are you waiting for? So I had a look just before the class. They have basswood at 200 Rand for 4 sheets, and you'll see how much there is left over. So if you were making these for Father's Day, let's say to sell, you could get quite a few of them out of it. So you could even turn these sideways and have them running down, and you could get quite a few out of them. Okay, so that's going to be our cardstock. So for this one, I do want to mirror it. Remember, when we cut our cardstock on mirror, it comes out better. So Carol said she's scared of my flash challenge. You shouldn't be though. So usually when we do a class, especially if it's an advanced class, then we focus on advanced. Today I'm doing advanced and beginners. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. You can even do a t-shirt with this concept on it. So you have the sort of cut out photos on the t-shirt. You could do a cap. There's so much that you could do. So please don't be scared. So I'm also seeing, does that mean we get to challenge Lolly this week? So Lolly actually joined in on the last challenge. Quite proud of myself. Okay, so we're going to say continue. And I'm printing this onto photo paper. So we're going to say send to printer. You can see that it's showing us the sensor marks. There'll be a little arrow in the top corner. Okay, we've got our correct printer, and I'm going to be using system dialog. I'm not sure if you can see this pop up, but I always suggest, number one, leave your bleed on unless you are not doing print then cut and you are only printing. If you're doing print then cut, always leave your bleed on. The bleed is going to add a little bit of color around everything that needs to be cut. So let's say you're doing a label and all of your wording has the bleed around it. You immediately know before you even go to cut that it is going to cut around each of your letters, and it's not what you want your design to be. I feel like I'm being ganged up on in the comments. Okay, so system dialog, also very important. What that does is it allows your printer settings to override your normal system settings. So normally the system settings are set to a basic print and it doesn't look very nice. So with your system dialog, you get to refine it. You get to make sure, number one, that you're on A4. Number two, if you're using a glossy paper, you get to slow down the print by choosing glossy paper. And if you want a better quality print, you get to increase your print quality. So I'm going to say preferences. I don't think you can see this. I'm going to make sure I'm on A4. I'm going to choose photo paper glossy, and I'm going to choose high quality print. I'm going to say OK, and I'm going to print. So I do just want to move my laptop. I feel like I have to tell you that because last time it made a big noise and I think I scared everyone. What's going on there? Okay. So while that's printing, we're going to move on to cutting. Hello everybody that's just joining. If you've missed any of the class, then you can always go back and watch on the Cricut South Africa YouTube channel. All of our live classes are available to watch at any time. So if you're having FOMO, if you need some info and the classes are too far away, you can always go back and watch an older one. Why does it not want to connect? It's being mean. Okay, so we shall start with our basswood. Okay, so for this you're going to be using a strong grip machine mat, and you want to make sure that that machine mat is nice and sticky, so new is better. And let me just switch over so you can see. So what I do suggest doing as well, I haven't even taken this paintbrush out of its thing, but just dust your basswood like so. because it does have like little, I don't know what to say, like little dusties on it. So I don't know if you can see that, but they're actually coming off as I'm brushing it. And that's going to get stuck to your mat. And you don't want that. Okay. Now remember, when you're doing basswood or any of your thicker materials, you do want to make sure your star wheels. So let's pull this forward a bit. Gotta unplug it. Oh goodness. The anxiety. Also, my machine needs a dust. Anyway, moving forward very swiftly. So your star wheels are going to be to the side, and that's so they don't run over your material, damaging your material. And you're going to make sure, obviously, that your material is nicely aligned. And then you're going to use your brayer. So if you're not using a brand new mat, a brand new super sticky mat, what you want to do is you want to tape your material down. So you can take painter's tape and you're going to stick it on the edge so that everything is taped down and it's not going to move. So what will happen if it starts to move is your machine will pick up an error and it will tell you to unload and restart your machine. So the error occurs when the machine feels that there's force against the blade, or it feels that the material's moving, then it's going to give you an error. So your knife blade, if you're using it for the very first time, you're going to do a calibration on it. So you do the calibration on your rotary blade, your knife blade, and your print then cut. So there's no other blades that you need to do calibration for. So if you're using it for the first time, you're going to do your calibration. That's going to make sure that it cuts nicely, cuts in the same place over and over, and then you can get going with it. So in terms of the material setting, you're going to use basswood, and it's going to be the 1.6. So you can see it's got a little C next to it, which means it is a Cricut material. And I do just want to make sure that this is not too close to the top. And I'll show you why now. Okay, so it's ready to go. So the reason I didn't want it too close to the top is you can see that I've left a tiny little gap there. And then what will happen is the blade will keep slipping off there and it will actually start to shred my material, which obviously I don't want. So Sheila asked, does the Explore Air 2 cut basswood? Unfortunately, no, it does not. So you need to have the knife blade to be able to cut it. So it's exclusively for the makers. However, we are doing the photo frame for those who don't have makers and still want to make pretty projects. So an idea as well, if you don't have a maker, what you can do is you can use printable vinyl and you can use normal vinyl, and you can create the same concept on an acrylic keyring. So there's no reason that it has to be done like this. So I see that we are confessing in the comments regarding the use of the knife blade. If you have a knife blade and you have not used it, you are honestly missing out. So one of the things that I love to make is my own chipboard, heavy chipboard box frames. They come out so beautiful. I love making keyrings like this. I have made so many fun things with the knife blade. You honestly have to use it. So let's talk flash challenge. So I think that I have chosen many of the challenges. So I would like to hear from the people who are always challenged. What do you think the flash challenge should be? So Carla has confessed that she has it but has never used it. Carla, I feel like that in itself is gonna be the challenge, honestly. I think I made this keyring way too big, but it's completely fine. It's completely fine. It will be a big one. So just to tell you what the actual measurements are here, because I was just doing that by, yeah. So I went with 8 by 5, 8 by 5. I think I went bigger with this one. I must have, because that looks way bigger. But that's fine. It's completely fine. So the other thing you are going to need for this is either super glue or UV resin, and then obviously you're going to be needing some of these little so this, what is it, I don't know what it's called. There it is there. So it's got a little like nail on the end, if you will. What's it, a screw, and then like a little head on it, so you're going to use one of those. And then you're going to obviously need the normal little chain and stuff that you're going to use for keyrings. So I promise you, basswood is not that difficult to work with. It is important to remember that it is a softer wood, so when you are removing it from your mat, you do want to be careful. With the original keyring that I made, I did break the mid piece in there, but it's fine. Once it's stuck together, you can't even see where it broke. So you literally just put it back together, stick it in, and it's completely fine. I'm not seeing anybody with ideas on what the challenge should be. I see Alba says a cardstock challenge. So you'll see also on the screen, so let me just show you if I swap over back to Design Space, you'll see that it tells you how far along it is, how many passes it still has, and the approximate time remaining. So most of the time when you're doing basswood, you don't want to let it go the full 14 passes. I have cut through a mat before, and then I actually donated that mat to one of the experience zones, because we used to use a lot of mats there, and when people saw it, they had an absolute heart attack. So I cut clean circles out of my mat because I forgot what I was doing and I left. So Alba says that we should have a cardstock challenge, and what I'm hearing is that we should do anything but cardstock. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm not that evil. So it does do the suggested time is 14 passes, but usually when it gets about halfway, you want to just stop it and check it, especially if your number one, your mat is nice and new, because it keeps everything held there. sorry, I just had somebody phoning me. So if your blade is nice and new and your mat is nice and new, then you obviously want to check it about halfway because you don't want it to cut through your mat. And also, if it is a very simple design like this, then it also cuts a lot quicker. So Carla asked how many passes should we do, so I would suggest checking at halfway. Just pause your machine, and then if it still needs to cut some more, so you can obviously just, oops, yeah, almost ejected it. So you can just pause it, and then once it's done cutting there, it will pause. And then the part that you're going to throw away, you can just test it. You can try and lift it. If it comes up nicely, then you're ready to take it out. If not, then you press your play button again and it will carry on cutting for you. So we're going to let that go a couple more passes. I think we're almost there. I see somebody says they're scared to switch on their machine. Tandy, please put your machine on. I promise you the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to make a small mistake and it's going to be completely fixable. So there you can see, because I did not tape it down, it is flashing and it's telling me it's not happy with me. So I am going to unload that. And it did not cut completely through. But luckily it did cut completely through on our letters, which is the most important part. So the rest, while I'm busy cutting, I am going to cut it quickly with my Cricut knife, my True Control knife, that thing. Okay, so what I didn't do, and I will just show you how to do it, is I did not do our overlay for it. So let me just jump over to Design Space. Actually, wait. Okay, let's put this up here. We're now going to cut out our print and cut. So you can see my Design Space is not happy. I'm sorry, I left you on Design Space. Okay, we're going to do medium cardstock with one pass. We've already sent it to the printer. We're going to use our light grip mat for that. And that's an old mat, but it's fine. Whoopsie, we just dropped. Karen says she hasn't made a 3D fox yet. It is super easy, lots of fun. You definitely want to do it. I love the way that the design is done so that it makes it easier for you to put it together. Okay, so we've selected our material. It's going to cut that for us. And while that happens, I'm just going to cut out the rest of this because I should have taped it down. So take that as your warning. Definitely tape your material down. So Karen asked, do you select medium cardstock for photo paper? To be honest, I select medium cardstock for most things. So, yeah. Okay, so we did not go all the way through here, so I'm just going to go through quickly. Did that cut? Did it? I don't know if it did. Oh, that's why I've got the knife blade in. Be careful to change your blade back to your fine point. Okay, there's our photos, cut out nicely. And remember, remove your mat from your material, not the other way around. So we're going to stick those aside. Obviously we need that. And then we're going to move on to our cardstock. And again, for this one, I will use medium cardstock. So I'll be honest, in terms of the material settings that I use on Design Space, I bounce between a few that I know work for most things. So I like to remind people that the material settings on Design Space are suggested settings. If you have to move away from those settings for any reason, it's not the end of the world. Those are just suggested settings. Find what works for you and go with it. Okay. Okay, so our dad frame is actually ready. Very exciting. Okay, now we need our acetate that I just had. So remember, your acetate has a cover on the front and the back. So for this, I'm going to use the foil acetate setting, and I'm going to use more pressure because I haven't taken the covering off of the front or the back. And we're going to use more pressure. So I think for our challenge, I would like to see anything made that has been inspired by this class. So whether you want to be brave, and I really think some of you should, and try the basswood, or whether you want to play it more safe and do a frame, or if you want to go a completely different route and maybe do a t-shirt, it's completely up to you. But I think that would be amazing, and I think as a little incentive, we will be giving away a Cricut cutie. And I know how much everybody loves the cuties, so I think that is a, oopsie, it's very loud, sorry. I think that's a very good incentive for the class. I think that's a nice challenge this time. I'm just busy cutting the basswood because I did mess it up a little. so there's our back piece, and then we're going to do our front piece. So you can see basswood, so I'm cutting it with scissors. Basswood is thin enough to actually be cut with scissors, but it's still sturdy enough to make a really great project, especially when you triple up like I'm doing. I'm just trying to hurry through because it's 7:46, but the project is almost done. And remember what I said about the middle piece. If it breaks, do not stress, it's going to be hidden away. And it is a very thin piece, so it is not the end of the world. Okay, so we're just going to tidy this up. Sometimes you get little flyaways. If you have a nice, what's this thing called? Sandpaper, you can just sandpaper the edges very gently. You can see it didn't cut through here, and I think here. So if I look at the back, I can see exactly where it didn't cut through. Okay, perfect. So there we have our top and our bottom of our frame, and now we just need to get the midsection out. And while I'm doing that, I'm actually just going to show you. So I did leave, oopsie, I did leave a piece out, so we're just going to cancel the cut quickly. So I think in terms of the challenge, that was very fair. So to do our midsection, okay, so let's just go back over to Design Space. So to do our little offset, what we're going to do is we're going to select this, and we're going to say offset. And we're going to again do a negative offset. So let's go minus 0.1. Let's go 0.2 and see. That looks good. We're going to say apply. And that is going to be our little offset that's going to be on the front. So I'm just going to make that black. We're going to say make. And for the offset, I am actually using an offcut of the Cricut wood veneer. Absolutely love the wood veneer. So this is some of the remnants that I found lying around, but we're going to use every piece of it. So for the wood veneer, which is a super thin wood, you're going to use your deep point blade. Do I want to mirror it? I think I do. So we're going to say continue. And for this, we're going to browse. We're going to look for the wood veneer, natural wood veneer, and just to be safe, I'm going to say more pressure. So again, for this, you're going to be using the deep point blade, which is your black blade, and we're going to be using a strong grip mat. Why else are we not closing? Okay, so while that's cutting, I'm just going to finish taking out our little mid section here. And again, if you don't have wood veneer, you can use anything. If I just had extra, I actually wanted to do leather before I found the veneer. Okay, so there's our little midsection. You can see I did break it, but again, it's completely fine. So what you want to do is you are going to cut a corner out of this. So you want to cut a little piece here and a little piece here. Don't cut yourself, please. And now we're going to stick that together, and you will see exactly why I cut it. Okay, so we're going to apply some glue. So I'm using Jewel Bond. You can use a wood glue or a super glue, I guess. And I'm applying that straight to the bottom piece. And oopsie, we're just going to reassemble our wood here. So again, this is going to be completely hidden. So if you decide to make this project and you break the centerpiece, just know it's completely normal. It is a soft wood. You're just going to piece it back together. And I promise you, from the outside, you will not even notice that it was broken. I think I did make the hole on the wrong side though, but it's fine. Okay, so we just want to make sure everything is nice and tight together. There it is there. Now we are going to take this out the way for 1 second. Let me just move everything, close this because we're done cutting for now. So Palesa asked, what glue do I use? So I am using Jewel Bond. I have decanted it into a little squeeze bottle, but I'm using Jewel Bond and I use it for most things. It's a very sturdy glue and I love it. So now we're going to insert this little guy, and that's where you're going to use either your UV resin or you're going to use super glue. So it's completely up to you. We're almost at the end of our project and we have 7 minutes. So you're going to take literally just a drop and you're going to stick it where you've made the hole. So where I cut it, you can see there's a little hole there. That is going to be where this goes in. So we're going to stick just 1 drop of resin in there. And then we're going to grab this guy. And we're immediately going to start curing it. So we obviously don't want so much resin that it's going to ruin the whole thing and it's going to start dripping out. You just want 1 drop. Literally 1 drop, that's it. And I'm curing it with a UV nail lamp. So let's push that a bit forward so you can see. So the wood veneer, I see Carol says she always breaks wood veneer. So the wood veneer, you do it kind of like cardstock. So let's just let that go once more. You're going to gently peel away. Gently, gently, gently. Like so. So there it is there. Oopsie. But this is now stuck to my mat. Okay, there, we're done. So in the meantime, we can start sticking this. So what I did here is I applied to the back of the wood veneer, like so. And you don't want to put so much, so you don't want it going absolutely everywhere because then it is going to smush out. And then you're going to have little glue spots on everything, which is terrible. Okay, that's it. And then we're going to stick this here. How cute is that, even without the photo? I love it. I think wood on wood is such a look for Father's Day. Okay, so that's done. You can test it. It's nice and sturdy in there. Now we're going to remember that there is a cover on both sides of this. And take it off, if I can get it off. That's going to go there. Where's our little photo? Here it is here. So that's going to go in there. Did I say it was jewel bond? Yes, it is jewel bond. Did I say it was something else? I might have. Okay, so we just obviously want to make sure this is in nicely. There we are. Perfect. And now we're going to seal this up. So this is a completely sealed keyring, which actually makes it a bit better because it's not going to have, like, I don't know, water getting into it or the photo falling out constantly, which can be super annoying. Make sure everything's aligned nicely. Stick it together. And then you're going to attach, obviously, your little keychain charms, whatever it is that you want, onto that. Very simple. Let's just move this so it looks cuter. And then our photo frame. I can't remember what glue I said it was. So it's jewel bond. If I said it was something else, I do apologize. It is jewel bond. It is Dollar jewel bond. I actually have the bottle here. This is what it looks like. This is what you're going to be looking for. Okay, so this is a standard photo frame. You can pick them up pretty much anywhere. And all we're going to be doing is sticking this in it like so. See, it's a little bit big. The sizing was off. It wasn't my sizing, it was the photo people's sizing, because they 100% said 10 by 15. It's there. It's right there. It wasn't me. So we want to make sure this is the right way. And that's going to go in there. How cute is that? Oh my goodness! I absolutely love it. And there is our keychain. So I'm not going to torture you by watching me struggle with putting the little chain on it. But here it is here. So that is it once it's had the little chain put on it. And yes, I do have random people on my keys. We will obviously change that to our dad's when the time comes. So just to show you, this is the one that I did in the class. It is a bit bigger, so this is 8 by 5 centimeters. And then for the class, what did we do? For the class, let's just cancel that. We did, I'll tell you in 1 second. We did 10 by 5. So there's a 2 centimeter difference there. You can obviously choose which one works best for you. I like the little one. I like the 8 by 5. So if you want to recreate that one, 8.5, that one is 10 by 5. 10 by 5. And then obviously our beautiful photo frame, and you can jazz that up however you want. So thank you all so much for joining me for another very chaotic class. It was lovely. I cannot wait to see everybody's made for Mzansi projects. So remember, for that competition you can win a Cricut Joy 2, which can print then cut, and it is super cute. It is teeny tiny. It will fit in any space you need it in your life. You can also win Cricut Cuties and Cricut Crates in that competition. And then for our little flash challenge for this week's class, you can also win a Cricut Cutie. So you just have to make something that was inspired by tonight's class, post it on the group. What hashtag are we using? I don't know what hashtag we're using. Kim, help us out here. I think made for dad, specifically made for dad, and Cricut live class. So made for dad and Cricut live class, that is the hashtags you can use. I will post them on the group, and I can't wait to see what everybody comes up with. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely evening.